Hello everyone. Welcome to another day of review. Let's recap your knowledge in language, culture, and society. The part of linguistics that is concerned with the structure of language is divided into a number of subfields. Phonetics, the study of speech sounds in their physical aspects. Phonology, the study of speech sounds in their cognitive aspects. Morphology, the study of the formation of words. Syntax, the study of the formation of sentences. Semantics, the study of meaning. Pragmatics, the study of language use. Now, let's proceed with the different characteristics of language. Language is a very important means of communication between humans. A can communicate his or her ideas, emotions, beliefs, or feelings to be as they share a common code that makes up the language. No doubt, there are many other means of communication used by humans, e.g. gestures, nods, winks, flags, smiles, horns, shorthand, braille alphabet, mathematical symbols, Morse code, sirens, sketches, maps, acting, miming, dancing, etc. Next, language is arbitrary in the sense that there is no inherent relation between the words of a language and their meanings or the ideas conveyed by them, except in the case of hieroglyphics where a picture of an object may represent the object. The situation in the case of the language is a similar one. The choice of a word selected to mean a particular thing or idea is purely arbitrary, but once a word is selected for a particular referent, it comes to stay as such. It may be noted that had language not been arbitrary, there would have been only one language in the world. Next, language is a system of systems. Language is not an amorphous, a disorganized, or a chaotic combination of sounds. Any brick may be used anywhere in a building, but it is not so with sounds or graphic symbols standing for the sounds of a language. Sounds are arranged in certain fixed or established, systematic order to form meaningful units or words. Similarly, every human child has to master the conventions of the language he or she learns before being able to successfully communicate with other members of the social group in which he or she is placed. Next, language is primarily vocal. Language is primarily made up of vocal sounds only produced by a physiological articulatory mechanism in the human body. In the beginning, it must have appeared as vocal sounds only. Next, language is a social phenomenon. Language is a set of conventional communicative signals used by humans for communication in a community. Language in this sense is a possession of a social group, comprising an indispensable set of rules which permits its members to relate to each other, to interact with each other, to cooperate with each other. It is a social institution. Language exists in society. It is a means of nourishing and developing culture and establishing human relations. It is as a member of society that a human being acquires a language. We are not born with an instinct to learn a particular language. Next, language is non-instinctive, conventional. No language was created in a day out of a mutually agreed upon formula by a group of humans. Language is the outcome of evolution and convention. Each generation transmits this convention on to the next. Like all human institutions, languages also change and die, grow, and expand. Every language then is a convention in a community. It is non-instinctive because it is acquired by human beings. Nobody gets a language in heritage, he acquires it, and everybody has been provided with an innate ability to acquire language. Animals inherit their system of communication by heredity, humans do not. Next, language is systematic. Although language is symbolic, yet its symbols are arranged in a particular system. All languages have their system of arrangements. Though symbols in each human language are finite, they can be arranged infinitely, that is to say, we can produce an infinite set of sentences by a finite set of symbols. Every language is a system of systems. All languages have phonological and grammatical systems, and within a system there are several subsystems. Next, language is unique, creative, complex, and modifiable. Language is a unique phenomenon of the earth. Language has creativity and productivity. The structural elements of human language can be combined to produce new utterances, which neither the speaker nor his hearers may ever have made or heard before any listener, yet which both sides understand without difficulty. Language changes according to the needs of society. Now, let's proceed to norms. Norms typically refer to standards or rules that are expected or accepted in a particular society or group. These standards guide behavior and interactions among individuals within that society or group. Norms can encompass various aspects of life, including social behavior, ethics, cultural practices, and legal regulations. They serve as guidelines for appropriate conduct and help maintain order and cohesion within communities. There are two types of norms. We have formal norms and informal norms. Formal norms, also called mores, and laws, refer to the standards of behavior considered the most important in any society. Informal norms, also called folkways and customs, refer to standards of behavior that are considered less important but still influence how we behave. Table manners are a common example of informal norms, as are such everyday behaviors as how we interact with a cashier and how we ride in an elevator. Jumping in. Let's discuss the elements of society. Man is a social animal. He always lives in society. Like him, some other creatures such as ants, birds, monkeys, apes, etc., also live in society. Human society, in comparison with other societies, is unique in several respects. Society possesses the following elements. Number 1. Likeness. Likeness of members in a social group is the primary basis of their mutuality. Maybe in the beginning assumed or real common lineage, tribal affinity, family benefit, or the compactness due to a common time inculcated between and among the members in the group, the feeling of likeness. Likeness means mutuality, and that means society. Number 2. The reciprocal awareness. Likeness is generative of reciprocity. Once some are aware of the mutual likeness, they certainly differentiate against those who are not like them. The problem of likes and dislikes was concomitant to the social growth. Consciousness of this kind alone could make sense of likeness. All social action is based on reciprocal response. This alone makes possible the we feeling. Number 3. Differences. Sense of likeness and not always sufficient. It alone is not adequate for social organization. This does not exclude diversity or variation. The social structure of humanity is based on the family, which rests upon the biological differences between the sexes, viz., men and women. The economic structure of society is based upon division of labor, in which the professions and economic activities of people are different or dissimilar. The culture of society prospers with the differences in thoughts, ideals, viewpoints, etc. No two individuals are alike in their nature. Number 4. Interdependence. Society implies interdependence. It is not possible for human being to satisfy his desire in isolation. He cannot live alone. He needs the help of others for his survival. Society fulfills all the needs of the people. For example, the institution of family rests on the biological interdependence of sexes. Today, not only countries but also continents depend upon one another. Likewise, communities, social groups, and nations are also interdependent. Number 5. Cooperation. Without cooperation, no society can exist. If the members of the society do not work together for the common purposes, they cannot lead a happy and comfortable life. Cooperation avoids mutual destructiveness and results in economy. In the words of P. Gisbert, cooperation is the most elementary process of social life, without which society is impossible. Number 6. Conflict. Conflict is an ever-present phenomenon present in every human society. Not only cooperation but also conflict is necessary for the formation of society. They must coexist in a healthy society. Conflict is a process of struggle through which all things have come into existence. And now, let's discuss sociolinguistics. Is a field of study which deals mostly with language use, particularly spoken language, but not the grammatical or phonetic structure of a language. Sociolinguists do not study a language or a linguistic variety as a closed system with no reference to speaker in social life. Sociolinguists emphasize that language use, the sociolinguistic language system, is always variable and heterogeneous. There are 7 functions of language according to Halliday. Number 1. Instrumental, I want function. Uses language to express a need. Example, I need a fork, / I need to eat. Number 2. Regulatory, do as I tell you function. Uses language to direct other people. Example, "Get out of here, you stupid boy, / break the egg and cook it." Number 3. Interactional, me and you function. Uses language to make contact and form relationship. Example, "Would you like to be my workout buddy, / how was your day?" Number 4. Personal, here I come function. Uses language to express feelings / opinions. Example, "Eating really makes me happy." Number 5. Heuristic, tell me why function. Uses language to gain knowledge about the environment, get information or data. Example, survey, interview, etc. Number 6. Imaginative, let's pretend function. Uses language to tell stories or jokes and create an imaginary world. Example, storytelling, novels, poems, short story, jokes, etc. And number 7. Representational / informative, I've got something to tell you function. Uses language to convey facts or information. Example, did you know that pandas only eat bamboos / teaching, reporting, etc. And now, our last topic for this language, culture, and society review are the theories about the origins of language. 1. The Mama theory. Language began with the easiest syllables attached to the most significant objects. 2. The Tada theory. Language began as an unconscious vocal imitation of these movements, like the way a child's mouth will move when they use scissors, or my tongue sticks out when I try to play the guitar. This evolved into the popular idea that language may have derived from gestures. 3. The Bow Wow theory. Language began as imitations of natural sounds: moo, choo-choo, crash, clang, buzz, bang, meow. This is more technically referred to as onomatopoeia or echoism. 4. The poo-poo theory. Language began with interjections, instinctive emotive cries such as "oh" for surprise and "ouch" for pain. 5. The ding-dong theory. Small, sharp, high things tend to have words with high front vowels in many languages, while big, round, low things tend to have round back vowels. Compare itsy bitsy teeny weeny with moon, for example. This is often referred to as sound symbolism. 6. The yo-he-ho theory. Language began as rhythmic chants, perhaps ultimately from the grunts of heavy work, heave-ho. The linguist S. Diamond suggests that these were perhaps calls for assistance or cooperation accompanied by appropriate gestures. This may relate yo-he-ho to the ding-dong theory, as in such words as cut, break, crush, strike. 7. The sing-song theory. Danish linguist Jespersen suggested that language comes out of play, laughter, cooing, courtship, emotional mutterings, and the like. He even suggests that, contrary to other theories, perhaps some of our first words were actually long and musical, rather than the short grunts many assume we started with. 8. The hey you theory. A linguist by the name of Rivesh suggested that we have always needed interpersonal contact, and that language began as sounds to signal both identity, here I am, and belonging, I'm with you. We may also cry out in fear, anger, or hurt, help me. This is more commonly called the contact theory. 9. The hocus pocus theory. Language may have had some roots in a sort of magical or religious aspect of our ancestors' lives. Perhaps we began by calling out to game animals with magical sounds, which became their names. 10. The Eureka theory. Perhaps language was consciously invented. Perhaps some ancestor had the idea of assigning arbitrary sounds to mean certain things. Clearly, once the idea was had, it would catch on like wildfire. 11. The Tarara Boondai theory. According to this theory, language came from the sounds that were created by our ancestors during rituals, which then later on changed and were given meanings. 12. The Lala theory. According to this theory, language was based on forces related to romance, a factor that prompted man to speak. 13. The cuckoo theory. According to this theory, language came from baby talk. The sound that babies made was then imitated by the adults to name the things in their surroundings. 14. The yum yum theory. Just like the Tada theory, man responds through gestures to anything that requires action. Responding was done through the use of the mouth with relation to the position of the tongue. 15. The Babel-Lucky Theory. According to this theory, language may have been originated from meaningless exclamation of man. Any questions? Please do message me in our group chat. If no more questions, that ends our virtual and/or asynchronous review for today. Thank you for listening. God bless future LPTs. Goodbye.